George Mason walked through the dirty streets of Nexus Station with heavy steps. His gray hair caught the artificial light as he moved past crowds of different alien species. The old man had spent 40 years exploring space, but today felt different. Today he would do something that might change everything. The slave market stood in the darker section of the station where few humans dared to go. George pulled his coat tighter and entered the building. His heart beat fast as he saw the cages lined. Up along the walls inside each cage sat beings from worlds he had never seen. A tall blue creature with 4 arms approached him. Its voice sounded like grinding metal. When it spoke, "Welcome, human. What do you seek today?" George cleared his throat. "I want to buy some of your prisoners to free them." The creature laughed, a horrible sound that made other shoppers turn and stare. "You want to free slaves? That is not how this works." "Old man, I have credits," George said firmly. "Enough credits. Show me the credits first." George opened his coat and revealed a credit chip worth more money than most people saw in their lifetime. The creature's eyes grew wide as it scanned the chip very well. "Follow me." They walked to a section marked with alien symbols. George could not read inside 3 separate cells. Sat 3 female aliens, each looking defeated and hopeless. The first alien had pale silver skin that seemed to glow in the dim light. Her long white hair fell like water around her shoulders. When she looked up, George saw eyes the color of deep purple gems. Her name, according to the seller, was Luna from the ice world of Christos. The second alien had golden skin that reminded George of warm honey. Her hair was bright orange like fire and moved as if it had a life of its own. Her green eyes held intelligence and anger in equal measure. The seller called her Amber from the desert planet Solaria. The third alien was the most unusual. She had skin that changed colors like a rainbow, shifting from blue to green to purple as emotions crossed her face. Her silver eyes seemed to look right into George's soul. Her hair was white with streaks of every color. The seller said her name was Rose from the garden world of Verdania. "How much for all 3? George asked. The creature calculated quickly on a small device. 1 million credits? George handed over the chip without hesitation. "Done." The seller opened all 3 cages immediately. The 3 alien women stepped out slowly. Not understanding what was happening, George turned to them and spoke in the universal trade language. "You are free. I bought you only to give you freedom. You can go anywhere you want. Luna." The Ice World woman stared at him with confusion. "Why would you do this, human?" "Because slavery is wrong," George replied simply. "No, being should own another. Amber." The fire-haired woman stepped closer. "What do you want from us? Nothing comes free." "I want nothing," George said. "You are free. That is enough for me." Rose, the color changing. Woman had been quiet, but now she spoke. Her voice was musical like wind chimes. "Where will we go? We have no home, no family, no way to survive." George felt his heart break a little. "You can come with me to my ship. I have room. You can stay until you figure out what you want to do." The 3 women looked at each other, then back at George. They had no choice but to trust this strange old human who bought them freedom without asking for anything in return. George's ship was small but comfortable. He had built it for long journeys alone. But now he found himself sharing it with 3 very different alien women. Luna preferred the cold areas of the ship. Amber liked the engine room where it was hot. Rose enjoyed the garden area where George grew food. Days turned into weeks as they traveled together. George learned about each woman and their destroyed worlds. Luna came from a planet covered in ice and crystal cities until raiders burned everything. Amber was from a desert world where her people lived in underground cities until slavers took them all. Rose came from a world of eternal gardens until a plague killed everyone except those taken as slaves. George treated them with kindness and respect. He cooked meals, asked about their cultures, and shared stories of Earth and humanity. The women began to trust him more each day. They helped with ship repairs, shared their knowledge, and slowly started to smile again. One evening, while they sat in the common area sharing dinner, Luna asked George a question that surprised him. Why did you never marry human, George? Are you alone? George set down his fork and thought for a moment. I was married once long ago. My wife died of sickness. I spent the rest of my life exploring space to forget the pain. Amber leaned forward. You have been alone for 40 years. George nodded. Yes, I suppose I have. Rose, who had been quiet, spoke softly. We have been alone too. Our families are gone. Our worlds are destroyed. Luna stood and moved closer to George. You saved us from slavery, but maybe we saved you from loneliness. George looked confused. I do not understand. Amber smiled. We understand each other. George Mason, you lost your family. We lost ours. You have been alone. We have been alone. But now we are together. Rose took George's hand. Her skin changed to a warm gold color like happiness. George, we do not want to leave your ship. We want to stay with you. But George stammered. I am old. I am human. You are young and beautiful. And from different worlds. Luna laughed a sound like silver. Belle's age means nothing. Love means everything. Amber nodded. We have watched you for weeks. You are kind, gentle, strong. You treat us like equals, not like slaves or objects. Rose squeezed George's hand. We love you. George, all of us. Together, we can be a family. George felt tears in his eyes. But how would this work? 3 wives from different worlds. Luna sat beside him. On my world, families can have multiple partners when there is love and respect. Amber sat on his other side. My people believe love grows stronger when shared. Rose knelt in front of him. My world taught that families come in all forms and the heart knows what is right. George looked at the 3 wonderful women who had somehow found their way into his life and his heart. He had bought them to give them freedom. But instead they had all found something better. 6 months later, George stood in his ship's common area, which had been decorated with flowers from Rose's garden, ice crystals from Luna's collection, and golden stones from Amber's homeland. He wore his best clothes while Luna wore silver robes. Amber wore flowing orange fabric, and Rose wore a dress that changed colors like her skin, Captain Hayes of the merchant vessel. Freedom performed the ceremony that joined them as a family according to human law and the customs of all 3 alien worlds. George Mason had spent 40 years alone in space thinking his life was ending. Instead, he found that his real life was just beginning. With his 3 wives, he would explore new worlds, build a home, and prove that love knows no boundaries between species or worlds.